My name is Josh Weathers. My friends and I are from Fort Worth, Texas. We're gonna play some music. We're gonna play some old songs. I haven't played any of these old songs in a while. Here we go. On the one, hang on. Are you alive, people?
So music did have an impact on my childhood. My first concert that I went to was George Strait, and I loved George Strait. I used to pretend I was him and play a little plastic guitar and sing Amarillo by Morning on our fireplace. And I found a guitar actually in a friend's garage, and the neck was falling off, and so I stapled the neck back on. And my uncle, who played guitar, put some strings on it for me and showed me how to play a couple of chords. And I immediately just kind of started writing songs because I didn't know how to play anybody else's songs. And so I started writing songs, and my parents eventually upgraded my guitar like that year for Christmas. And I was 19 at the time, and I just started, a friend of mine said, hey, these songs that you've written, you should go play them at this open mic in Dallas. And so I went to Dallas, to Sons of Herman Hall, and that's the first time I played music in front of people, was at Sons of Herman Hall. I had 3 songs, and I just played those 3 songs over and over and over again. But that's how I got my start, yeah. So there was one point in my career where we were playing at a festival in West Texas, and we had a really great time slot. We were like Friday night at 7 o'clock, which was like 2 acts before the headliner, and we were standing on stage in front of about 25,000 people. And I thought, yeah, this is pretty sweet. This is good. And we did that show went really well that night, and I kind of walked off stage, and as soon as I walked off stage, this guy from Nashville met me with a business card and was like, I want you to come to my office on Monday. And I thought, man, I made it.
If I should stay,
So my reaction to the I Will Always Love You video was, I was pretty astounded. You know, the video at the time was actually already 2 years old, and I had recorded it. I didn't even know it was recorded, actually. The guy who owned or ran the Kessler Theater had a video camera like this one set up, and it was sitting up on one of the upper ledges of the venue, and he just taped the whole show. And that video he decided to post the next day, and it kind of initially got a little bit of, you know, kind of some buzz on social media. And then, you know, 2 years later, I think it was probably around the time of like the, you know, when Whitney Houston had passed away, maybe like it was like the anniversary of her death or something, someone shared that video, you know, on Reddit, and then it was like Huffington Post, and then it was the Chive, and it was all these different places. And we were just kind of keeping up with it. And the thing that blew me away the most was the response to it. You know, the fact that it went viral, that was crazy. But, you know, I was getting phone calls from LA and from record labels and from all these people that that just kind of made my head spin. And so my response to a lot of those record labels, I actually denied a lot of the requests to come to Nashville or LA or wherever, just because it just wasn't the plan for my life at the time. My wife and I were in the process of adopting a little girl from India, and I knew that was going to pull me away from my family, and so I just felt really strongly that it was probably not the time for that.
Josh took a break from his band after 10 years on the road in 2014.
always knew something was out there. I wish I knew sooner.
So what caused the hiatus was,
Yes, nobody ever told
ultimately my family. And there was kind of, for me, as you get older, I kind of had like a spiritual awakening, so to speak. And I decided that the best thing for me to do was to go home and just be a dad, be a husband and put all my priorities there, and it turned out really well, because ultimately that's my main goal and purpose in life. Music is great and it's my passion, it's what I love to do. But if I fail at that, if I fail at being a dad and fail at being a husband, then the music is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. I definitely grew as a person during the hiatus. I mean, that's where all my focus and intent was to becoming a better person, growing as a person. And musically, yeah, actually just kind of putting the guitar down made me really enjoy it when I picked it back up again. So if I'd walk through the room and see my guitar on a stand, then I would pick it up and I'd actually enjoy playing it, as opposed to before that it was just it'd become a job. A year ago, my wife and I decided, after a mission trip to India, that we were going to start our own 501c3, our own nonprofit organization. It's called Love Like You Mean It, and that whole organization is geared around building a home for girls and a school in a really, really remote place in India. And we just couldn't unsee the things that we'd seen over there, the poverty in India and just sort of the destitute lives that so many people live over there. The fact that, there's 1 billion people in India and there's close to, 28 million orphans, was just, and you can literally see it everywhere you go. You see naked babies, on the street, and no one's caring for those children, or, parents are at work and mom and dad, just leave the baby to be tended to by other people, and other people don't care. Just a crazy, crazy scenario. And so we really wanted to be intentional about doing something there. And the kind of break in the hiatus, so to speak, or the return back to playing out live and things like that, was because that seemed like a really wise way to raise funds.
Josh played at President Trump's inaugural ball.
So the events that led to me playing at the inaugural ball were really simple. It was just a phone call from a company in Fort Worth that had been hired on to host some of the inaugural events, and the military ball just happened to be one of those events. And I'd worked with them in the past, and we had a great relationship. And so they said, "Hey, we want to use a guy from Fort Worth. Would you be interested in coming and doing this?" And it was, an immediate yes. Yeah, I'd love to be a part of that. I'd be honored.